and welcome to the Fat Squirrel Speaks. Today is Tuesday, May 7th, and this is episode 62. Sounds good to me. What about you? Okay. Again with the rhinoceros mud wrestling. How do I not notice that until I start to talk to you? Okay. So I'm recording a day late. Oops. Sorry, life's been crazy. Okay. Not in a shenanigan-tastic way, just in like a way. Okay. Yesterday was raining, and so my husband could not go to his job that he was supposed to go to, so we played hooky. I didn't play hooky all day, but I did play hooky for half a day, and I did not record. Shame on me. But whatever, hush. It's free. Speaking of free, some of you are so kind with your faces, and you don't even treat it like it's free. Thank you, Diane and Claire, for your generous donations to the podcast. Yay, them! They're awesome sauce. Thanks, ladies. What else do I need to say in the administrative section? Let's say thank yous, shall we? I'd like to say a great big giant, which sometimes can be translated to thank you, to the lovely Rachel who's Coop Knits, who's written this book called Coop Knit Socks. Evidently I'm going to sing everything today, sorry, with my terribly, I can't carry a tune in a bucket's voice. Visual index, shut up. Code so that you can get everything digitally, even though you got the print version, because who can't, because it's so pretty, you want to touch it. But you can also get them digitally. I'm not going to do a full-on book review because the Knit Girls did it, and they're way better at it than I am. Let's just be honest. Let's know our strengths and our weaknesses, okay? But I do want to say, I love this girl. What's up with her? And that dress. I want that dress so bad. So not flattering on me. Don't care. So cute! If you're going to SSK, I may just roll up in there in that dress. I won't, but I want to. Oh, and their socks. The socks are lovely too. But let's face it, you need more prettiness. All the prettiness all the time. So anyway, there's lots of lovely patterns. Lots of them featuring like a semi-solid, which is my favorite kind of sock yarn. I love the crazy sock yarn, but I'll be honest with you, it stresses me out when it pulls. Not gonna lie. I'm uptailing that. But anyway, it's all lovely all the time. Yay her. And thank you. We're so fancy. Such a talented group of people. It's ridiculous. Other thank yous. So we're having an orange cow going on. Okay. It's going on in May and June. Jay Olson totally sent you some prizes and they are awesome. I can't even lie. She also said something that she said I could use as a prize, but guess what? I'm totally keeping it. It's pretty. I'll show you really quickly because it's so pretty you should see it. What? This is Sandar yarn. Now, I might have mustered up the will to let you have it, but the colorways, this one is yellow heirloom tomato, and this one is red heirloom. Got me. So pretty, Sandar. Isn't that terrible? I'm like, this could have been for you, but I'm a greedy person, and I'm going to take it. Shame on me. But look what you do get. Hush up your face. It's a good thing she specifically designated these as prizes. Because I'm going to do. No, I wouldn't. I'm sorry. Peppers. Oh, socks that rock. This is the medium weight, I believe. Yes, the medium weight in Dragon Dance. So, see, it's for the orange colors. Orange it all over the place. Who's skeins? Shut your faces. I know, right? So that's a total of 760 yards. That's a great prize. And also, look at this prettiness. This is the famous Colin Jitterbug, and I'm trying to see what the colorway is. I can't. Oh, here we go. Melba Peach. Oh, perfect. Right. And it's a big honkin' skein, too. It's 400 yards, 150 grams. Yep, that's right. I sniffed your yarn. Take it, it's free. That's like my aggressive sniffing. So those are for you. There's more prizes rolling in. Hey, orange cow. By the way, I totally put a survey up, which was like, I should have put it at the head of the thread, whatever. I don't care. But I'm so tickled at so many of your knitting sweaters for the orange cow. I'm tickled at any of your participating, period, okay? But so many of your knitting sweaters, how cute are you? I could die. Sorry, coffee slurping, but it's still 8 in the morning time. I need coffee. What else? Thank yous. Thank you in general for your lovely responses to the Orange Cow and to last week's episode. I love your faces. Thank you for iTunes reviews. Shush up. It's so awesome. Thank you for being you. That's an honest, heartfelt moment. Do you feel it between us? Thank you for being you. Shenanigans! There are no shenanigans this week. I know, right? I've combed my mind for a shenanigan of any sort. I used up all my shenanigan points at the retreat. That's all there is to it. The world only allots you so many shenanigans per quarter, and I used them all at the retreat. It was worth it. Okay, let's talk about some more stuff. Since I don't have shenanigans. I have lots. I am literally surrounded. It's insane here. It's insane in Casa del Fat Squirrel. Crazy. There's mountains of everything to show you. Mountains. Plus there's mountains of sewing. And like, it's just all crazy here. So let's get to it. So there will be knitting this week. There will be spinning this week. I got off my tush. There will be random product review. Well, it's not random. Actually, it's a totally knitting product review. So hush. There will be a product review. There's something else. Oh, shameless self-promotion too. Okay. Let's get to it. Let's talk about spinning since it's right here and you haven't seen any forever. Okay, this is my, is it Nunoco or Nunoco? I'll put it in the show notes. But they're the lovely ladies from the UK. And do you remember I had that sequence of fiber bits that were the rock pool colorway? And I got 2 of them. And then my idea was to spin each set on a bobbin and then ply them together. Because I wanted, they're 100 grams. And I needed more than just 100 grams of it. Let's not even lie. So I did 200 grams, which is about 7 ounces. And I spun those as thin as I could on my giant. I don't know why I said that. I like the word giant. What am I going to do? My Bluette S10 single treadle wheel, which I love, but I'll be honest with you. My high strain. Right. Shame on me. It's lovely for spinning all things bulky and fat. It's not so good when you're trying to spin thin. I do the trick where you lace everything through your bobbin, through your flyer, to slow it down, because it's got serious pull. So it makes it so that I actually cannot spin worsted. I think that might be why. Do you agree? Because it hurts my hand. It's like I have to fight the wheel. I'm like, no, don't let the twist in there. No! It's impossible to fight the wheel. It's powerful. I'm not even gonna lie. It might be the alpha in our relationship. I don't admit that easily. But it might be. So it's like it's like eats the yarn like a crazy person. So it's good when you're trying to spin thicker stuff. It's just lovely for that. But when you're trying to spin fine, it's single treadle, so you have to treadle faster. And also the pull makes it very difficult. So I may or may not be lusting after other wheels. Shh, don't tell the else. Don't tell her. It's true. I have a big love household up in here. Anyway, my wheel needs a sister wife. I think that's all there is to it. Sometimes the responsibilities of a relationship are just too much for one person. Okay, really. It's still early. Hush. So this is, I got about 600, a little bit more than 600 yards out of 7 ounces, which is pretty good for me. Especially since the last bobbin, I was over it. I don't know if you remembered. It's taken me like 4 months to spin that bobbin. Maybe not 4 months, but close. Not even lying. But I haven't really spun on it. I just looked at it and been like, ah. So this week I specifically sat down and did it. It took me a long time. But I'm relatively pleased with the yarn. The fiber was beautiful to work with. It was lovely in every way. And I am relatively pleased. My yarn is not even because, again, as I said, I lost my will to live in that last bobbin. But I think I'm still pleased with it though. And I think it's actually going to knit up quite lovely. When I was plying it on the bobbin, I was like, I hate this yarn. But now I kind of like it again. So yeah, it is big and fat and like a lovely honey bun of gorgeousness, which is awesome because I only have a 1.5 yard skein winder. Oh, because it's the one that goes on my wheels. Hush. So everything gets to be a big cinnamon bun of joy, which I'm totally okay with. Okay. So yay that. Mothers. Okay, now knitting. Finished objects. This was technically finished last week in my mind, but I'll show it to you again just in case. This is the Gills Rock from the lovely Paula Emmons Feasley of the Knitting Pipeline. And in Quince and Company, Finch, Rob Bird's Egg. But last week I hadn't blocked it, so I thought I would show it to you after it's been blocked. I did not hard block it. I did not pin it out. I literally just soaked it for a little while and then laid it over the back of our futon-y couch thing. And so I did not block it aggressively or anything. And it's lovely. I totally love it. So pretty. So you can wear it with a pointy thing or not the pointy thing. I did not do the pointy thing. There you go. So it's very pretty. I really like this color too. Quince & Company's got me wrangled. Second finished object. Well, really first. Whatever. Hush. Are you keeping track? Oh. Sorry for slurping. It's my Kara sweater by Cecily MacDonald. Am I pleased with it? Indeedly do. I am actually quite pleased with it. In this lighting, it looks like a lot of contrast, but I don't plan on wearing it with black. Although, let's face it, I will, because that's my uniform in the summertime, is black tank top and black yoga pants. But it probably would be better without the black, because it's a lot of high contrast, because this is a very green. This is in the Quince & Company Chickadee in the Snap Pea colorway. Now, you'll be like, hey, cheater pants, that's not done. There's supposed to be ribbing there. Okay, this is my conundrum. I'm very pleased with the entire sweater overall. I'm pleased with how it fits. It looks super cute. It's the perfect length. It's like right above my, well, it's not right above. It's like just a smidge below my actual like pant waistline. Why do you watch the show? Anyway, I'm so easily distracted. Squirrel. So it's right below my waistline on a pair of pants. So I won't feel weird that it's too short. But it's like a lightweight sweater, so you don't need it to be big and schloosely. But the only disappointment I have is that the sleeves are too long. So that's why you're seeing this. My thought point, I'm kind of deciding between leaving them unfinished like this. I do add an extra salvage stitch to all my edges. So for example, this sweater has 2-stitch salvage. I make mine 3. I always like a 3-stitch salvage. I don't know why. I just do. I feel more secure. So I roll. But the sleeve is too long. So the options at this point are just to leave it as it is because it is a finished edge. I mean, it's not like rolling. I mean, it's fine. Or do I put the ribbing on but just always leave it rolled up? I don't know about that. Or do I get really scary? I'm not going to even do this. Am I? Am I this crazy? I don't know. Or do I take it and cut and steek it essentially? Like cut it out and then cast and then, you know, and then whippity-doo-dah it and then pick up. That scares me a little bit. Because in the middle here, there's only like 2 stitches that you would be able to, and you would have to, you could, yeah, it's possible, but I don't know, that makes me very nervous. I think I'm just going to leave it like it is. You know, because it looks, but if I make the sleeve any longer, then this is, okay, so this is it. If I make the sleeve any longer, it's going to be longer than the bottom of the sweater. And I don't like that in this particular sweater. I have other sweaters that are like cropped, like just right under the boobage line with a 3/4 sleeve, and that doesn't bother me. But I don't, for some reason, I just don't think or it's going to make it like almost exactly the same, which again, according to Amy Herzog and common sense as well, that makes it, you're wider. You know, if you put the sleeve so it's exactly the same length as the bottom of your sweater, that creates one visual line and it widens you out, which I don't need. So there's my conundrum. That's the only thing I'm not pleased with. Did I do anything differently than the pattern originally suggested? Yes. My sweater is shorter, but so it's less pattern repeats. This is a T sweater, so you cast on at the bottom at the hip, knit to the armpit, and I'm not telling you anything that's not told in the description. This is a paper pattern. You knit to the armpit, then you cast on for the sleeve, which is one of the reasons the sleeve is too long. It's hard to tell when you don't do a gauge swatch. I totally didn't do a gauge swatch. Don't do that. But I didn't do a gauge swatch. So that's why my sleeves are too long. So then you cast out, and then you do the sleeves, and then you cast off for the sleeves, and then you do body. So it's harder to, it's not like I can just rip out the bottom of the sleeve and it's shorter. It's actually like a width and not a length. So that's my only sadness. Which is a sadness I'm totally willing to accept, because I, quite frankly, the entire time I was knitting this was like, it's gonna be a train wreck, what? And it totally wasn't. It's cute. It's super cute. I know you can't see that, but trust me, I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't. It actually fits me better than the last few sweaters I've made. So I'm very pleased about that. Last two sweaters I've made have been a little too big. My Twigs and Willows and my Watercourse. I like a tight sweater. I know. I'm crazy. I'm a fat lady who wears way too tight clothing. That's how I roll. I can't help it. That's what I do. You put bigger clothes on, you just look bigger. I'm not lying. It's true. In my mind. Some of you are going to meet me and be like, oh, especially SSK when it's hot. You'll be like, oh, you need to put some clothes on, yo. Whatever. Oh, so the other thing I did different is that the way it's knit, there is no body shaping at all. It's straight up rectangular. So what I did do is that in the lace pattern, there is like that 2-stitch bump in the middle between the like eyeletsy partsies. I made that into a 3-stitch. Like I started over here, like right after I cast off of the sleeve. I would do, increase one in the middle of that 2-stitch, so it makes it 3-stitch. And then I would knit 2 rounds. And then I would increase one in the next one. So now I have 2 with 3 stitches. And I did that all the way over to the front. I think I skipped like the last one. Or the last 2. And then as soon as I got done, I decreased back in the same manner. So every other row. No, every other right side row. Sorry. So I did that. So that gave me a little extra. And then I didn't go all the way down to the bottom, the smallest size on the bottom. I did leave like 4 extra stitches. So actually, inadvertently, without having read Amy Herzog's book, I kind of did what she told me to do by accident. She tells you, like for my body style, what I should do is knit the back of my sweater smaller, like a size smaller than the front. And I kind of did that by accident. Okay, so those are all of my works and my finished object. Okay, now I have works in progress. Have you seen any of these? I've actually got a lot of work done this week, but yet I still have lots of knitting. No, like tons of progress on any one thing. I'll show you this very quickly. This is my Shot Through the Heart sock in Fibernymphy Dyeworks Bounce Base. I'm going to do Plain Jane, AfterThought Hill, a la Laura Linneman. What is up with this one hair? So yay, that is a little bit of progress. And I made a little bit of progress on my Sockhead hat. I'm not going to show you that because I've got way too much to do and it's already 18 minutes in. Hush up. Okay, so everything else is new. Okay, this is my first new thing. And I'm going to show it to you first for no apparent reason. But whatever. I realized that the SSK knit along is ending May 15th. Whoops! So I needed to get something on the needles for that. I totally messed up. And so this is this number 4? This is number 4, right? And so this is the JC Boggs one. And since she doesn't do knitwear design, or doesn't do a lot of it, maybe she has something out there, I don't know. But your challenge was to use either a pattern that began with a J or a B. So I am doing it's a surprise, Balm to the Soul shawl, which is by Jaala, Spiro. It's Jaala. I'm trying to find you a good picture on pattern. I know, I'm sorry. Here we go. Yark. So it's a simple little DK or worsted weight shawl. It is a pay for pattern, but it's very affordable. I think it's $3.50. So I'm doing that. And I will tell you this, and I can show you this because it's not going to give anything away because it's itty bitty bitty. She does the pattern as normal, but she also gives you a chart of the entire shawl. Okay, now I do not find this useful. I love this. I don't find this useful for actually, okay, well, when I get to 76 stitches, I need to do X. Okay, because it's not helpful for that, because high would be ridiculous. But it's perfect if you're me and you're like, oh my God, this pattern has so many words. I admit that I do that sometimes. Because you know it's a simple pattern. You know it. You're like, I just need to do that thing for that many rows. But you have to read a lot of words to find that out. This is a great graphic representation of how many rows I need to do in seed stitch. You can tell that from just looking at the picture. I'm not telling you anything. So it's perfect. It's a super cheater pants way to do it, and I love it. So that's like a separate file from the actual pattern file, and I think it's a great idea. Go her. And I am knitting mine with handspun because I gotta get all my SSK points. Okay. And this is Gail's Art. This is one of her one-time only colorways. So it has just like a number. So I'm not gonna tell you what that is because it's nothing of use to you. And I quite frankly have no idea what it is anymore. But I applied it together with a Shetland that's just like a natural light fawn. And then here's this shawl so far. I'm doing mine on US 7s. And again, the pattern is written for worsted or DK. I'm sorry. So it's a triangly one. So yay that. Fat shawls are so fast. Yay. That smells good. Sheepy and nice. So yay that. Okay. Oh, dropping stitches like a boss. Okay, so there's that. The next new thing I have to show you is for the orange cow. I am knitting the Bellevue sweater. And this is, sorry, I jostled you. This is by the lovely Laura Chau. Can you see that very well there? And I have knit another one of her patterns. I like her, it's not her styling. I like the silhouette of her sweaters. They seem to work well for me. She has a lot of shorter sweaters. I don't know, but she's super cute too, by the way. Pattern's very nicely written. I will show you something. No information, don't steal it. But there's like a grid aspect to it. So be aware of that. If you like to have your numbers written into a pattern, they're not like that. They are a fill in your number for the pattern. But that's nice, especially her pattern is written in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sizes. So that gets a little crazy when it's just bracketed numbers. So it's written from a finished bust of 32.5 all the way up to 57. If you were super spidey and you saw the numbers I had circled for my size, you'll notice that I circled 35.5 inches and 41.5 inches. That's not my size, yo. I am going to knit my upper bust measurement. Is that what it's called? Upper torso? Whatever. Those measurement that happens above the here. Because, again, that's one of the things I don't like my twigs and willows. It's, like, very bulky up here. So I'm going to knit that size, and that's, for me, that's a 46. So I'm a 46 up here and a 54 boobage. So that's a lot of bust increases, but whatever, I'll figure it out. And I'm also knitting, is that what I'm doing? Yes. Because that ends up being about the right size for my back. So my back's not too baggy. Hi, Amy Herzog, I love you. So yes, that's why I have, because I'm actually knitting in between those two sizes to get the right size. Because, oh, that's the other thing. This is written at a gauge of 6 stitches to the inch. Yeah. For fingering weight. And this is an ebook. When you buy it, you get 2 patterns. You get the fingering weight version and the worsted weight version. I think it's $8. This episode is awful. I'm so sorry. What was I talking about? The gauge is suggested is 6 stitches to the inch, I believe. That's not written in stone. But mine is going to be 5 stitches to the inch because that's what I knit my Gills Rock to, also on the Finch. And I really like that fabric, again, for a summery sweater. So that's why I'm knitting a much smaller size than I would normally knit. Does that help you? You're like, no, not at all. You just talked and made noise. It made no sense. So I am making mine out of Finch Nasturtium. It's orange. And I have, I have 2 of the 3 lacy repeats of the bottom done. And so you can see that means also that this lace part is significantly bigger than it would be as written, for the gauge as written, but I'm a significantly bigger lady, so I think proportionately it'll be chill. Proportionately look about the same, I think. So yeah, that. So yeah, that's all I have so far. Yay! What else did you say? I think that's all. Does that make you nervous to do something? Because again, this is the same yarn weight, but I'm knitting it to a looser gauge because I want it to be more airy, openy for like a summery, springy sweater. Like I really want to knit that new Amy Herzog sweater, but I can't knit a DK sweater right now. I can't do it. It's summer. I have to have at least the hope of maybe wearing it on a chilly night or in an air-conditioned place. My bag. The bag that started it all! So yes, what I'll anticipate is that my sweater will not have quite as much structure as hers, but I'm okay with that. Like mine will be a little bit lower. I'm okay with that. Next, work in progress. I have taken the plunge and I once again cast on for a color work affection. That's not right. A color affection. And I'm doing it with my yarn. Okay. So this is this month's colorways. This is May. This is the 100% BFL fingering weight because I have not knit with it yet. So I try to knit with everything that I sell. So not to be like a hypocrite or something. This is the Morning Dove colorway. The green is the spring leaf. And then the third color will be the brown, which is the twig. So you want to see them all together? I had many love affairs with this month's colorways as they were drying on my racks outside. So pretty. That's totally self-promotion. You're right. It is. Whatever. If you don't like what you're doing, it's not good. So I really dig it. So again, twig, Morning Dove, twig, spring leaf. And this is the Pecan base, which is 100% BFL. I name my bases Kami. So this base is a 4-ply. It's a little bit crisper than the other fingering BFL I use that has a little bit of nylon in it. That's a 2-ply and it's a little fluffier. So I think it'll be good for shawls. And it has more of a yardage. I think this one's 438 instead of the 400 for the acorn base, which is the 2-ply. So yeah, that. And then that is all for the knitting. I know, right? 3 new projects in a week. Whatever. I'm crazy face. That's all. We all know. Oh, and I'm knitting that on US 4s. And the color affection, of course, I'm doing the fingering weight version, and that's by Veera Valimaki. I'm not going to show you the picture. You've all seen it a million times. Was that all the things I needed to tell you? I think so. Yes. Okay. Now, very briefly, I have a little tiny bit of enabling, and then we will go into shameless self-promotion. Okay, so I love Falkland spinning fiber. I know, you're like, I can't believe you bought fiber. You finally finished one thing in like 7 years and you bought more fiber. Hush! It was a reward. Mother's Day's coming or something. None of those are true. I just bought this. So this is Falkland. I love Falkland. And there's not always tons of it out there, but I just love it. And so whenever I'm like, want to shoppy shop, I usually search for Falkland on Etsy. Because it's not so overwhelming like Merino. But I always love it. This is from Godiva Fibers. And her shop is mysweetspot2.etsy.com. So mysweetspot2, the number 2.etsy.com. This is her colorway. Oh, it doesn't have a thing. FALK 0811. And this is 0822. So I thought these would be super pretty. You can kind of see that the blue one has a little bit of the brown one in it. Ooh, they smell nice too. So I think 2-ply. What do you think? I think these are pretty. So that's all my enabling. Where do I put things? Okay, now it's time for Shameless self-promotion. Okay, so this week's update for the shop, well, this month's update, whatever, will be May 10th, which is a Friday, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I originally said that there would be a bags only update on May 24th. That is wrong, because that's Memorial Day weekend. We're going camping! So I will be out in the middle of nowhere somewhere, and my phone does not talk to space, nor does my iPad. It only talks to the internet in my house, and then that talks to space, but you know what I mean. Maybe that doesn't talk to space. Okay, now I'm just being ridiculous. But my phone doesn't do that fancy stuff. So I can't enable it from afar. Plus, there's probably not even self-service where we're camping. Maybe. So there will be yarn and bags May 10th, and I'm going to show you those things today. And there will be bags only on May 17th. So is that okay? So it'll actually be the second and third Friday versus the first and third, which is my typical thing. And those will both be at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay? Okay. So this week I'm a total fail. Like I need to put this week in front of there. And I don't have a finished bag to show you because they're all in works. They're all in various states of not finishedness over right there. So what I will show you though is the fabric. If you haven't seen pictures of folks who snagged one from the Pipeliner Retreat, you get the same fabric that they did. You don't get a fancy little button that says Pipeliner Retreat. But I love this fabric, so shush. This is what I thought of. Should have thought about how awkward this would be before I did it, but whatever. So this is the fabric. Of course, Pipeline Retreat, I had to make something with birds. And then I liked it so much, I had to make some for everybody. So you can see there's lots of lovely little birdies. And they're very happy. And it's a linen rayon blend. So it is a dry clean, spot clean only kind of one. But a lot of mine are. And then it'll have the off-white standard lining, the natural, and dark brown zippers, if you haven't seen a picture. So I'm sorry, I usually try to have one finished, but it just didn't happen, because again, I played hooky for half a day yesterday. So that's the fabric. There will be sweater bags and the large wedge bags, which is typical for the yarn update. Now I'll show you the colorways. I kind of showed you them already, but I'll show you them in the MCN base. The MCN base always has a higher level of variegation than the other bases, so just take that as a heads up. Here's the blue! Do you like it? I really like it. It was so hard to decide whether I needed to put brown or blue in the shawl. But the brown was kind of like the unloved one at the Pipeline Retreat, so I felt bad for it. So I used it. So it's very pretty. I totally dig it. And there'll be all the bases. They'll be in all the colors, except there'll be no DK in the brown because again, nobody really liked that much. Shh, don't tell brown. So there'll be all of the normal bases. Morning Dove, which already has a tag on it. And it is like, I really like this color too. This was also one that was not super loved, but it was loved. It's just not super loved. And it's a very brown purple, which I dig a lot. Yay! And this is the spring leaf. Sorry, it still has the tie on it. There was no blue tie on yours. And finally, the twig, which I really like in the MCN. It has a lot more variation in the dye. Sockhead. So this is the MCN vase, which I'm now calling hazelnut, and it's 600 yards, so it's 150 grams of MCN goodness. Yay. And I think that's all. So those are all the colors. You'll see them along with bags on Friday. And that's all. Okay, I hope you all have a lovely week. And hopefully I haven't forgotten to say anything because I feel like maybe I have. But I'm going to go ahead and stop anyway. Thank you again for watching. Thank you again for participating in the boards. And I'll see you next week.